Hi guys, Omar with Overlanding Just Cause. Happy New Year. This is the first video of the new year for me, and I hope everyone's starting the new year off great, and best wishes to you guys this year. This video is going to be about the top 3 things that I learned from my first trip solo camping. I went out for 2 nights, and each night was a little different on purpose, just to see, kind of play around with things. So let's get into it. The first thing that I learned from solo camping is you have to eat. Now, the very first day I got there, I had ate lunch. I found my camp spot, and when it came down for dinner, I wasn't really feeling it. A little bit of laziness. I just don't want to cook. Just, I guess, enjoying the moment, and I just didn't feel like cooking anything. So I ate chips that night, and I regretted it. Later, throughout the night, my stomach was growling. So that's the first thing that I learned right off the bat. Now, on the second day, was different. I actually cooked the steaks that I brought out, the baked potato, so I had a great meal. But yeah, don't be lazy, cook. And if you don't feel like cooking, there's freeze-dried, stuff that you can boil water. It's calories, so it helps. But eating potato chips and junk food is just not going to cut it, especially in the colder weather when you need those calories. So definitely don't be lazy, and it was a lesson learned for me. But yeah, next time I'll eat something of substance. And remember, when you cook, like that second night I made steak and I made baked potato over the fire. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. Even if you make scrambled eggs with a couple pieces of bacon or sausage or whatever, having breakfast for dinner, just as long as you eat something with substance, that's important. So it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to cook. You can boil some hot water and eat freeze-dried meals, ready meals, or mountain meals, whatever they're called. They don't taste horrible. With a little bit of hot sauce, they taste even better. So there are options. All right, the second thing that I learned from solo camping is setting up my camp. Now, what I mean by that is, by myself, setting up camp, I did a lot. Like, I pulled out the awnings, I set up the hangout spot with the rug that the dogs didn't even use. They'd rather lay in the mud. I don't know. I had my table, my chair, which, whatever. I ended up editing that first night, so the chair and the table came in handy. But seriously, setting up everything that first day, I probably only used half of it. I didn't have to pull out my awning because it didn't rain. The sun wasn't shining through. No snow or anything like that. So the awning didn't have to come out. The awning on the trailer didn't have to come out. I didn't cook. And again, the sun wasn't blazing through the trees, and it wasn't raining. There was chance of rain, but it didn't end up raining. I set up the kitchen. I didn't cook. So there's a lot of things that I set up because I was so excited that I didn't even use. Yeah, lesson learned. I'm gonna only pull out what I need, and if there's a chance of rain, I'll probably pull out my awnings like I did, because again, there was a chance of rain. The other thing that I did was I ended up using my huge 10-person tent, my family tent that I use when I have the whole crew with me. Now, that's my fault. The tent was already in the trailer, and I didn't feel like pulling it out and putting the 4-person tent in. Call it lazy. It was already in there. I'm like, it's easy to put up and take down. So it would have been easier if I had the 4-person tent, a lot easier. So yeah, that's a good lesson learned. If it's just me next time with the dogs, I'm bringing the 4-person tent. The second night, I actually slept in the truck, the Jeep. And with the dogs, had plenty of room. I mean, I laid all the seats down. You guys see the footage. It was comfy. The only thing about it was there was a lot of condensation. Yeah, maybe crack a window open, let some air circulate. But again, lesson learned. Next time, I'll probably put one of those thin sleeping pads. I try to cushion myself with a bunch of blankets, and even though I was comfortable, I think I could have been more comfortable. Now, the first night, again, I went big, pulled out everything, the tent, the big sleeping mattress that I aired up. The second night, I went more minimalist, right? I didn't pull out everything. I slept in the truck. I had a little fire going and made my food there, but I didn't pull out the kitchen, and when I did pull something out of the kitchen, I put it right back in. And the whole purpose behind it, when I got done using it, I put it away. And if for whatever reason I had to get out of Dodge, I could leave out immediately. And to me, I think that's important. I've talked about camp security before, and it's one of those things where, I always like to park the Jeep facing out. I always like to have the awnings, tucked in and put away before I go to bed. Just in case something happens, I can drive off immediately. But that second night, that was the case. I didn't have everything. I didn't have anything out, and I could have easily woken up, gotten in the car, in the driver's seat, and just taken off from that campsite. Pros and cons to both, and I like the whole minimalist, approach to it, but I still have the trailer, and I can still pull out what I need to pull out and have what I need to have. So I think that's important. And the third thing that I've learned from solo camping is that a fire is nice. When I'm with the family, I make a fire because the kids like it. We have, we make s'mores and cook on the fire. That first night, I didn't make a fire. Once it got dark and I couldn't really record any content, I started editing, and I had the light from my awnings on, and I was just doing my thing. And yeah, it was fine, but I was missing that fire. Like, it wasn't super cold, but it was cold enough for me to have my jacket and be bundled up. So fire would have been nice. A fire is also a morale booster. So when you're by yourself, things get quiet. That fire would have came in handy. Now, the second night, I definitely made that fire. I had my little fire pit that first time using. I thought it was great, easy to set up, and the fire was confined exactly where I wanted. Perfect. And it's small enough for just one person. Now, if I had the family, I probably need something a little bit bigger. It was good to have on the second day. Now, I will say with that fire on the second day, once it got dark, I didn't want to do anything except sit in front of the fire and just glaze into it. So not very productive that second night as far as editing and moving videos around and trying to organize stuff. I just sat behind that fire and just enjoyed the moment, which I think was nice. I don't regret doing that at all, but I think what I learned from that is having a fire is important, whether you're going to cook or not. That first night, I decided not to cook. I should have put a fire up anyway, just to have, just to have something else to do. All right, so that's it, guys. It's a quick video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got some out of it. Just 3 little tips that I learned from my first time solo camping. There's definitely going to be more content of either me solo camping or just with the family. My wife told me she's not really big into being out in the cold camping, so we'll see. It'll probably be a little bit more of me doing some solo stuff before the family jumps back in the spring, but it'll be fun. So take care, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Oh, real quick, check out my hat. Got it for Christmas. My wife got it for me. OJC, Overlanding Just Cause. That's right.